I read the news today, so you don't have to. Here's your daily download. In alien-related news today, President Obama over the weekend actually went viral for stating on a podcast that he believes aliens exist and they are not at Area 51. So everyone was like, oh shit, like the president confirms like aliens exist and they're not at this crazy conspiracy theory underground bunker at Area 51. But then he clarified afterwards and said, well, statistically speaking, I believe aliens exist, but I think it's very unlikely that they've come to Earth. And also I saw no actual evidence of this during my presidency that they exist or are at Area 51 or that there's a bunker there. This is kind of sketch. I genuinely believe that he was trying to be open about the fact that there are aliens and that there's some proof out there, but that then he had to reframe and silence himself because the president can't confirm something like that. I mean, we're living in crazy times, so maybe he thought, okay, now's the time. I'll just let this slide on a podcast really quick and see what happens. But that was very quickly shut down, and he had to clarify his opinion. But what do you guys think? I definitely think there's aliens out there, and I definitely think that they've had contact with us in one form or another. But let me know your opinion. From alien news to mushroom news, National Geographic put out a story talking about how 400 patients via special programs in Canada have been able to access psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, for therapeutic uses in palliative care situations. The use of psilocybin through therapy, like guided therapy, has been incredibly helpful for cancer patients with terminally ill diagnoses, to help deal with a lot of the existential and spiritual dread that accompanies a diagnosis like this. Can really help reduce anxiety and depression during this time for people. And that is like the main part of palliative care, right? It's comfort care. It's wanting these people to be in as little amount of pain towards the end of their life as possible. And because there's been so much positive research regarding this, laws in the US might actually change to start to allow our palliative care centers to also provide psilocybin as an option for care for our patients. Although we've known for a really long time that this can be incredibly useful, it is with the guidance of a registered psychedelic therapist. It is not for you and Kyle and Jim and whatever to take a, crazy hero dose and all of a sudden, you're better. Like, there have been people from these experiments and from these studies that have also had negative outcomes, because it can be really difficult to navigate some of the things that come up during a psychedelic trip. But with the right guidance, it has really been found to help a lot of people at end of life. It's helpful. Okay, that's all you need to know. In New Zealand news and weather news, there's been giant storms absolutely raging in the North Island. They are slowly making their way to the east coast of the South Island. So if you are here like me, watch out. But basically, over 30,000 people in the North Island are currently without power after storms on Monday, 10,000 of those being in Wellington proper. The airport in Wellington, as well as in Napier and North Palmerston, are temporarily closed. Stay safe out there. Really pay attention to the weather. Don't, do anything stupid. Yeah, just don't do anything stupid. How about that? In U.S. news, the Minnesota Star-Tribune has announced that the Trump administration has officially denied Minnesota access to the FBI investigation of Alex Pretty's death. The BCA, Hepburn County Attorney's Office, and Minnesota Attorney General's Office have been working together to conduct an independent investigation into the death of Good and Preddy, but they were hoping that they would also receive access to the FBI's investigation and evidence. This is officially been announced that that's not happening, which is not good. We want our federal agents to be able to work with our state agents and for there to be a good crossover of information, right? Like, ICE agents work for the federal government, but then are only being investigated by another federal entity. This is kind of a violation of states' rights, in my opinion. I do think that the state should be allowed to also, I mean, they are doing their own ongoing independent investigation, but they should be allowed access to the same information and evidence that the federal government has. I think having your federal government investigate itself is not really helpful, especially with everything going on right now in terms of the Epstein files and things with Trump. It kind of just seems like the federal government is trying to keep hush-hush and keep everything and all their misdoings and wrongdoings within themselves and only investigate themselves so they can determine the outcome so they don't look bad. But they should be working with the states. Like, that is their job, right? To work in tandem with the states and state government to help figure out what went wrong and to bring justice to these people. But we've already seen a large number of the Republican side of the federal government releasing statements about both Alex Preddy and Renee Good being domestic terrorists, while those of us with actual eyes who have seen the videos can just genuinely understand that that is not what is happening. I'm sorry, I don't think you're a domestic terrorist if you carry around a whistle. I also don't think you're a domestic terrorist if you use your Second Amendment right to carry your concealed weapon legally. In world news, China has extended visa-free access to UK and Canada. This makes now 79 countries that can enter China without a visa. Most of the restrictions involve only being able to stay for about 30 days for tourism. I mean, this is really interesting. They want more tourism in their country, and so they are opening up their borders for more visa-free entry to make it easier for people. What do you guys think about that? Do you believe in aliens?